I was blown away completely when I saw Shrek the first time. Visually, it really blows your mind. You know, it goes like, look how far animation has come.
The amazing thing is how revolutionary the computer has been in animation. It's not evolutionary, it's revolutionary.
I'd never seen anything like it. This is something cutting edge that just sort of brings it to that state, you know, where you're kind of just like, woo.
I've never seen anything like it before. I don't think anybody has. I think it's a completely new experience.
Shrek, the highly audacious animated comedy from PDI DreamWorks, takes all the elements of the classic fairy tale, throws them in a blender, and mixes them inside out and upside down.
Now I really see what's going on here.
The amazing fairy tale world of Shrek was born out of an extraordinary union. Hundreds of computer technicians and traditional artists working together to realize a very specific artistic vision. In computer animation, everything must be created from scratch. Characters, sets, camera movements, lighting, and visual effects all begin in the minds of the artists. But before the first frame of animation, actors must breathe life into the characters.
Thy deed is great, and thine heart is pure. I am eternally in your debt. One day, somebody called me up and said, hey, you want to do Shrek? What's that? It's an animated movie that they're doing at DreamWorks, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. And where would a brave knight be without his noble steed?
That's one of the reasons why I like doing them, because my kids really get into them. I had explained to them that it was, you know, and Daddy was playing a jackass in it, and they were like, what? And it's Daddy and an ogre and a princess, so they were pretty well primed for it.
That's what I like to hear, man. Shrek and Donkey, two stalwart friends off on a whirlwind big city adventure. I love it.
Shrek is a big, green, disgusting, oafish character, which is why I'm sure they cast me. You were expecting Prince Charming? And he just wants to live a really happy life on his swamp. And then one day, a whole bunch of fairy tale creatures arrive.
Hey! Oh, no. Dead girl, off the table!
They've been sent out of this magical kingdom by Lord Farquaad.
It's everybody from the Three Little Pigs to the Pied Piper and the Three Little Bears and Little Red Riding Hood.
What?
And on and on and on. All of these wonderful classic fairy tale creatures.
I'm not a puppet. I'm a real boy.
It has a great, fun time of kind of being a little bit irreverent to these wonderful stories that we've all grown up on.
I'm a terrifying ogre! What do I have to do to get a little privacy?
Oh, no.
So Shrek strikes a deal with Lord Farquaad that if he will go and rescue this princess, Lord Farquaad will remove the fairy tale creatures from Shrek's swamp and give him back his isolation.
Shrek has a sidekick named Donkey, who is in fact a donkey. And at first, Shrek finds Donkey very, very irritating.
Ah!
Oh, wow. That was really scary. And if you don't mind me saying, you definitely need some Tic Tacs or something, because your breath stinks.
He's just got this kind of wonderful persistence that finally cracks through Shrek's shell.
You gotta let me stay, please.
Okay. But one night only.
Ah, thank you.
What do you... No,
Oh,
no!
this is gonna be fun. We can stay up late, swapping manly stories, and in the morning, I'm making waffles.
Yeah, it was pretty natural because I was having fun doing it, and I got the donkey. I got the character, you know. I thought he was funny, so it was pretty easy to do.
And where would a brave knight be without his noble steed?
All right, I hope you heard that. She called me a noble steed. She think I'm a steed.
Princess Fiona's, she's a firecracker, as they say, little spark plug. She's been kept in a tower for quite a long time, so she has a lot of time to sort of put her imagination to work, and she's got this idea about her rescue, what it's going to be like, who's going to rescue her Prince Charming.
Wake up!
What?
Now let's go!
But wait, Sir Knight. You know, you should sweep me off my feet out yonder window and down a rope onto your valiant steed.
You've had a lot of time to plan this, haven't you?
The princess is at first exactly the way Shrek the ogre figured a princess would be. You know, a little bit stuck up, a little bit haughty.
I pray that you take this favor as a token of my gratitude.
Thanks.
And as he gets to know her better, he slowly becomes more and more impressed by this person.
Hold the phone. I will make this Princess Fiona my queen, and you lot will finally have the perfect king. Captain, assemble your finest men. We're going to have a tournament.
John has got such an incredible repertoire of characters that he has done over the years, and he is just an incredibly gifted actor. And John as a villain in a comedy is a riot.
Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. You're a monster.
He's a contemptible little creature. He's full of incredible dreams of glory.
Is this not the most perfect kingdom?
He's put up all these appearances, and he's supposed to be Prince Charming, and he's a conniving, devious short man.
I've tried to be fair to you creatures. Now my patience has reached its end. Tell me, or I'll... No, not the buttons! Not my gumdrop buttons! All right then, who's hiding them?
He's super inflated. He's a sort of walking embodiment of overcompensation.
That must be Lord Farquaad's castle. Do you think maybe he's compensating for something?
When you take the talents of Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz and John Lithgow, you couldn't have more fun. And just because of the comic genius of all of them, you can't get more outrageous.
So, do you want to go back to 3?
Yeah, let's do one more 3 where you drop it down at the end.
3, take 2.
Not really, no.
What's that now? Oh, sorry. That's the line. I thought you were commenting on my performance. What do you think of that? Not really, no. No.
I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea. I never knew anything about the process. They said Eddie Murphy and Mike Myers were going to be in the movie, so I expected to sort of walk into a room with the two guys there and us be like, doing our lines off one another. And instead I got a storyboard and a pointer stick. Sort of running across the bottom in dialogue and explaining to me, and I was like, oh, okay, I get this is a different process.
You just kind of act yourself through it, and then
Right.
you get to, and then you'll have full breath and everything for that.
Okay, good. Thy deed is great, and thine heart is pure. I didn't have anything in my headphones.
The actors who perform are in a curious little bubble. We're in an isolation booth. We only see it from our own peculiar little angle. In fact, in the whole course of this project, I'll never even lay eyes on Eddie Murphy or Mike or Cameron. We have dialogues together, and we end up in very intimate contact with each other, at least our voices do, in the film.
What kind of knight are you?
One of a kind.
What kind of knight are you?
One of a kind. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. First of all, it takes a long time. It's kind of like doing a movie and then sending it out to space, and then 100 years later, an alien comes by and said, I saw it, it was pretty good. Pretty good.
Doing something like this, it's more collaborative than when I'm just, it's just me and what I would do with my body and my face and my approach to a scene. And I found that the director and the people involved are really specific about what they want, so they kind of talk you through things.
Yeah, really, try one, just go a bit over the top, really upset with yourself. Really upset that you're still afraid of the dark, that you haven't conquered that fear.
Well, don't feel bad, Princess. I used to be afraid of the dark, too, until... Hey, no, wait. I'm still afraid of the dark.
And then you see that, them draw, how they wanted your voice to go because he was a little more this in the scene. He was a little more angry or he was a little scared. See that come out,
They've got a terrific shorthand, and they're very good at talking to actors.
They do videotape you as you work, but they say that no one's going to ever see them. And I have that in writing, I think.
The animators love to watch Cameron Diaz.
What? You did it! You rescued me! You're amazing! You're wonderful!
A little unorthodox, I'll admit.
They take that and they sort of like use that as a guidelines to sort of get some gestures of, you know, when you're screaming or moving around.
It's just so helpful because sometimes it's not so much about the body language, because when they're doing recording, most of the time they're just standing there looking at a piece of paper. But it's the detail of the face. Whatever was going on their faces while they were talking is so special.
Let me put it this way, Princess. Men of Farquaad's stature are in short supply. You're short. Okay.
Good, that's the one.
The animators took a lot of what I actually look like and put it on the screen. In actuality, I am green. My ears do stick out. I am 6'4". This has taken 4 hours worth of makeup to look like this. Usually I'm covered in, you know, pimples. Hairs grow out of weird spots. There's a slight sheen to my countenance. Yes, I use the word countenance. And I'm bald. Yeah.
And it's like, you're like, oh, hey, this is kind of cool. You don't have to like worry about, you know, what you look like or what you're doing. You're just sort of screaming and having fun and laughing, and you know. So it was actually really fun and freeing, and I enjoyed it a lot.
While the actors voiced their characters over a period of 3 years, a parallel process was taking place in animation, where Shrek's world was brought to life visually.
First of all, we gather an art department and discuss with the directors, producers, and by working closely all together as a team, we come up with the look of the movie.
Well, the story artists are given script pages, and the artists go away and draw all their panels, they pin them up, and they pitch them to the directors for approval.
Yours for the rescuing, Princess Fiona.
And once they're sort of approved, they go to the editorial process.
Everything starts in editorial, so Sim gets the boards and puts them together and gives them the pace and the tone and the sound effects. Then it goes into production.
Ogres are like onions.
They stink?
Yes. No.
Layout is its first step of the film's process into 3 dimensions. And so what I do is work with the directors and my layout crew, and we start blocking out in 3D very simple characters and simple sets.
Animating means putting in all the details and actually maybe start working on the facial animation, and then overlapping action, follow through, and also all the details, make sure the weight is at the right place.
I was forbidden from meeting the animators, actually. I was told that they're the mole people and that they never see the light of day.
At the same time, other departments are working on subtle lighting, complicated visual effects, and texturing of the images. All this effort was directed towards creating the unique balance of realism and fantasy that characterizes Shrek's remarkable world.
We wanted to take this fairy tale world, bring it to life, and have it feel very realistic without it being photorealistic. So it's a stylized realism.
You just can't believe what you're watching, and it's a completely amazing universe full of these storybook colors, but everything has weight to it and everything's 3-dimensional, and it's really exciting.
I think that there is a look to the film that hasn't been seen before. There's a believability there.
The great things about just Shrek with the sets, the production design is fantastic, and you have these amazing environments.
We had, you know, at some point had 47 or 56 different locations, which is an enormous amount of sets that have to be designed, and again, these don't exist, so you have to create everything.
And in Shrek's house, we have rats hanging from the walls. We have tons of things that you barely see. I mean, it's one of the things also in the movie was to bring as much richness as we could, and that richness is brought by the light, the modeling, by the texturing, by the number of props and objects you have in a scene.
There's just a texture, a tactile like quality to it that you don't get in just plain animation, you know, and it's not like a surface, it's a dimension, you know, and that was really cool to see, because that's just technology that you just haven't seen before.
Just the raw complexity of everything. The number of characters, the complexity of the characters, the fact that they're wearing clothes, the fact that they've got muscles and that they've got skin and they've got hair and they're outside with hundreds of thousands of blades of grass and trees with leaves is really, I would say, the measure of what's been going on recently.
Everything's a case of trial and error. For instance, we had
shots of Donkey. It was actually someone's first day in production, and they made one change which they thought was an innocent change. And the next day we got back renders from about a half a dozen shots with Donkey looking like a chia pet.
Kick him to the curb. Don't mess with me. I'm the stair master. I've mastered the stairs. I wish I had a step right here, and now I'd step all over it.
It's just so adorable. We've saved those, and we look back at them every once in a while for a good laugh.
There's a case where if the animator accidentally goes off the end, in the sense that he asked for a shape that's not there, the face blows up, literally, absolutely blows up. The teeth pop out, the tongue sticks over there, the eyeballs pop out, the whole thing just blows up. So it's kind of freaky.
I just know before this is over, I'm gonna need a whole lot of serious therapy. Look at my eye twitching.
Yeah, dealing with human characters is the real breakthrough on this movie.
I mean, there have been 100% animated, computer graphic generated films, but they haven't taken human-like characters and sustained a story for a whole feature length.
One day they won't even need actors, you know. They won't even need them. It's like it's just the depth to it, you know. It just is three-dimensional. It just blew my mind when I saw it.
Oh man, I can't feel my toes. I don't have any toes. I think I need a hug.
I think we have about 500 controls to animate the face, and it goes from when we animate the eyebrow, when we want certain shape, we might have 4 or 5 points here that we can just move one point at one time. So if I want a character to be mad, I can move this point down a little bit and then move this one up a little bit to get a little bit of that.
We had to go back and revise the skin several times so that they had enough dimples, marks on the skin so that they didn't look plasticky. With Fiona, for example, we have a very complex system of dermis, epidermis, and base. So it's working almost like a makeup process. And that is a system also that was applied by Rembrandt, so it's not new. You basically don't paint one color straight. You paint a glaze of red, another of yellow, and then you have a base that reflects the light.
The first time I saw it, I was like, it was rather eerie because I felt like even though she looks nothing like me, there was something, a quality about her sort of in the eyes that at first I was a little sort of taken back by. And there was a few gestures that sort of reminded me more of my sister than myself because I can't really see it in myself, but I kind of see it in my sister.
There's expressions that the characters get where at times I just look at them and I believe that they're real people. I believe that they have real feelings, and I think the level that the animators have taken the facial setups to are just incredible.
They've been able to make Shrek into this person that isn't me but is kind of me, and they've made a storybook character three-dimensional. They've done a really great job.
Okay, you two, head for the exit. I'll take care of the dragon.
Water, fire, mud. These are like the most difficult elements to bring to life in an animated movie, to actually create them and make them believable and plausible.
Stuff that we see all the time and obviously take for granted, but in CG it's a whole nother story. And to make it believable, and not photoreal, because again, it's not what the story called for, but to make it believable as part of the world that we're creating.
Oh, you can't tell me you're afraid of heights.
No, I'm just a little uncomfortable about being on a rickety bridge over a boiling lake of lava.
Having the Dragon's Keep surrounded by a moat of lava was a choice to make it, that much more threatening and imposing.
Just keep moving, and don't look down.
Shrek, I'm looking down!
To do the lava, we created spurts that would look interesting, and then on the surface of the lava is what we call a height field, which is basically a grid that you make go up and down in certain places, and that gives you a fluid-like looking surface. And then we brought it into some programs that we have in order to make the texture on the top feel like it's swirling around. My favorite moment in the movie is the moment where Shrek and Donkey save Fiona from the castle and they're being chased by the dragon.
Hi, princess!
It talks!
Yeah, it's getting them to shut up, that's the trick!
The animation is amazing. You see them being chased by this big ball of fire, and every turn in this movie is amazing because there's a new visual effect that just blows your mind.
The fire on Shrek is, for the most part, CG. In this sequence, the fire it's almost a character itself as far as needing to move through the scene and interact with the characters.
Basically, we started off with just a very simple ball, and we just animated the ball at the camera to get the timing right, and they started building their effects on top of that timing. So we would then, we'd have a simplified bunch of triangles just fly out at you, and then it would get slightly more blobby and more detailed, and then finally you see in lighting, you see an amazing effect coming out at you, straight at your face.
He had fat to deal with on Shrek. That was not an easy task. Jiggling and sort of giving him weight and substance. We had clothing to deal with. It hasn't been dealt with very often, and certainly not to the extent that we've dealt with clothing in this film. Hair, very sort of real-looking hair that behaved normally and yet could be acted with and interacted with.
The environments, we wanted to bring them to life and make them much richer and lusher and real.
The dust in the air, the leaves moving in the trees, the wind in the grass, the footsteps, the very precise lighting. It's a very intricate process, and it requires all the talent of everybody.
The thing that's fun of working on this is not the technology or the techniques that we use, but it's the actual film itself, and entertaining the audience and making them laugh is the important thing.
From storyboards to voiceover and animation to final render, the process of creating the magical storybook world of Shrek involved a lot of time, a lot of talent, and a little bit of magic of its own.
You might have seen a housefly, maybe even a superfly, but I bet you ain't never seen a donkey fly.
It's such a complex process. Everything is so intricate, effects-wise, lighting-wise, modeling-wise, that it's a mix of an incredible team of talent. The movie, as you see it, is far beyond our wildest dreams.
Shrek is such a brilliant character. It was a wonderful idea to take that and expand it into something which can be a great classic.
I think the story itself just has a great message of saying how important it is to sort of not judge people for the way that they look, but to see people for who they truly are.
Oh, that's beautiful. I didn't know you wrote poetry.
So that's a sweet little message, that you should love yourself for who you are, and, beauty is on the inside, not on the outside. And if you're beautiful on the inside, that makes the exterior beautiful.
The thing that I feel about the movie more than anything else is how funny it is. It's full of discoveries and full of, wonderful character moments. It's got a tremendous heart to it. Beautiful acting and comedic moments out of this extraordinary cast.
Wow. Only a true friend would be that truly honest.
The writers have done a great job of creating an amazingly fresh, new world with really funny bad guys and really cool sidekicks, and I'm very honored to be part of it. It's very cool, I have to say.
Oh, come here, you.
All right, don't get all sloppy. No one likes to kiss ass.
I get such a thrill when you look in my eyes. My heart skips a beat, girl, I feel so alive. Please tell me, baby, if all this is true. 'Cause deep down inside, all I wanted was you. Look into your eyes, yeah. Best years of our lives.
Welcome to the Tech of Shrek.
I was blown away when I saw Shrek the first time.
It's not evolutionary, it's revolutionary.
I thought, wow, that's just so realistic.
They completely knocked it out of the park.
In Shrek, the new fully computer animated film from PDI DreamWorks, Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, and John Lithgow, plus a team of 300 artists and technicians, turn the classic fairy tale formula upside down. Lampooning everything from Snow White
Hey! Oh, no, dead girl off the table!
Where are we supposed to put her?
to Little Red Riding Hood.
What?
As it follows the adventures of an ugly, stinky ogre and his sidekick Donkey in their quest to save an unconventional princess. Along the way, the computer wizards at PDI DreamWorks, creators of the critical and box office success Ants, have once again advanced the art of computer animation.
This is only the fourth film ever made using the technique, and for something that is so much in its infancy, the sort of leaps and bounds that's happening overnight is really nothing short of breathtaking. If we can imagine it, we can make it.
Thank you very much. I'm here till Thursday.
I think generally if you look at the differences between Shrek and Ants, you can see pretty clearly what's been going on in terms of the software development, just the raw complexity of everything.
In producing Shrek, the technical team at PDI DreamWorks improved the Academy Award-winning proprietary tools they developed for Ants to create the first realistic computer-generated humans able to express both dialogue and emotion through a complex facial animation system. The film also required major advances in the creation of rich organic environments, clothing that moves, wrinkles, and reacts to light like real-life fabric, and visual effects for fire and fluids of different viscosities.
The biggest challenge at the beginning of the film was the director said, we want this film to be 10 times as complex as Ants. And so we had this benchmark of 10 times complexity.
Oh, wow! That was really scary.
Considering my goals for the movie were probably a lot higher than I really expected us to get, we've hit far more of those goals than I could have ever hoped for. I'm incredibly happy with the look and the reality of our world.
Nearly 300 artists and technicians at PDI DreamWorks labored for over 3 years to create the storybook world of Shrek. With 31 sequences, 1,291 individual shots, 63 featured characters, and 36 unique locations, Shrek is the most ambitious computer animated film ever produced. Each medium shot of a character is comprised of over 800,000 polygons, 8 times the number for a character from Ants. But perhaps the most impressive technological feat in Shrek is the creation of a fully computer-animated, human-like character.
There have been 100% animated, computer graphic generated films, but they haven't taken human-like characters and sustained a story for a whole feature length.
We took what was the basis for the near human facial animation system and anatomically correct sort of body animation systems that were created on Ants and took them 20 steps further. We have characters whose lips stick when they open their mouths. There's a little follow through like normal people have. Every single muscle underneath the skin is moving with their speech and their facial expressions.
Our artists were able to do something that was almost photorealistic. It was too good, and so we really had to dial her back to make Fiona fit inside of the fairy tale world, because when she got too photorealistic, she really looked out of place in it. So here's a place where technology allowed us to achieve something that, if we went to the full extent of its potential, actually became incongruous with the look of the film itself.
I pray that you take this favor as a token of my gratitude.
Thanks.
The human and near-human characters start in the hands of the technical director, who creates the systems that the animators use to bring the characters to life. The technical director begins by building a static model of the character in the computer. He then invents some controls which the animators use to move the skeletal structure and muscles. As the artist drives the controls, it results in the model changing shape one frame at a time, creating the illusion of seamless motion, similar to the technique used in stop-motion animation. The sophisticated motion control systems allow the character to express complex emotions and expressions.
But with a wonderful team of technical directors that set up the characters, who really study anatomy, they figure out, where the facial muscles are, where the fat is on the face, and where the skin is loose. You know, if you notice Lord Farquaad, when he frowns, he gets this furrow in his brow. When he raises his eyebrows, he gets the wrinkles here.
Now tell me, where are the others?
You're a monster.
We're trying to create a tool that has a sort of a presentation and an interface to an animator so that when they are working with this, they're thinking, okay, now I'm making this character look mad in a way that shows he's also embarrassed, and he's embarrassed because he's been caught lying. So that's a very particular, nuanced kind of mad.
Hold the phone. I think we have about 500 controls to animate the face, and it goes from when we animate the eyebrow, when we want certain shape, we might have 4 or 5 points here that we can just move one point at one time. So if I want a character to be mad, I can move this point down a little bit and then move this one up a little bit to get a little bit of that.
Once the animators had created believable human-like characters, they began the work of putting them into a rich and detailed world with dozens of locations, thousands of props, and realistic visual effects. In developing the human-like characters for Shrek, the producers at PDI DreamWorks reasoned that they could use the award-winning proprietary facial animation tools developed on ants and apply it to the whole body structure.
One thing that we learned from ants was we animate the face with all the muscles on the face. So what we did on Shrek is we apply that to the whole body. When they move, you would see the arms might change shape because we have all the muscles underneath the structure. So when we move the animation, it looks much better.
A breakthrough program called a shaper was used to achieve sophisticated facial and body movements. It works by changing a surface from the inside out.
In terms of things that we actually invented, there was a new technology called shapers that we put together, which was a much better way of doing deformations of geometry. So anytime a character is bending and you're trying to deal with what happens where that bend is taking place and the way that the muscles work, that's what shapers are all about, and those are underlying everything in the main characters.
The artists here are just amazing as far as breathing life into these virtual characters.
You might have seen a housefly, maybe even a superfly, but I bet you ain't never seen a donkey fly.
Uh-oh. The programmers at PDI DreamWorks needed to have technology in place at the beginning of production that would allow them to produce cutting-edge animation throughout the 3-year schedule.
Most of what we use on the film is proprietary software that we create here, and the foundation of it comes from a group of about 14 programmers. I'd say probably about 15 to 20% of what we use on the film is off-the-shelf software, and we have to integrate that into the pipeline and have all of this stuff work as seamlessly as we can make it.
Everything's a case of trial and error. For instance, we had shots of Donkey. It was actually someone's first day in production, and they made one change which they thought was an innocent change, and the next day we got back renders from about half a dozen shots with Donkey looking like a chia pet.
Kick him to the curb. Don't mess with me. I'm the stair master. I've mastered the stairs. I wish I had a step right here, and now I'd step all over it.
It's just so adorable. We've saved those, and we look back at them every once in a while for a good laugh.
There's a case where if the animator accidentally goes off the end in the sense that he asks for a shape that's not there, the face blows up, literally absolutely blows up. The teeth pop out, the tongue sticks over there, the eyeballs pop out, the whole thing just blows up. So it's kind of freaky.
I just know before this is over, I'm gonna need a whole lot of serious therapy. Look at my eye twitching.
Each character presented a complex set of technical challenges. Art directors, technical directors, and animators worked together to develop new ways of achieving realistic textures of hair, skin, and clothing.
It's a pretty strong challenge to get just a simple thing as the transparency of the skin to work. With Fiona, for example, we have a very complex system of dermis, epidermis, and base. And that's an old technique of oil painting. You basically don't paint one color straight. You paint a glaze of red, another of yellow, and then you have a base that reflects the light.
To avoid the plasticky look of perfect computer-animated skin, the artists supplied a shader, which is a mini-program that determines how a surface will be influenced by light. Fiona's hair presented even more difficulties than her skin. Unlike Donkey's fur, which has a shader painted onto the static surface of his body, controls for the hair on Fiona were much more complicated and were built into the character setup. The hair involved a completely different rendering system, and like almost everything in computer animation, required a symbiosis of technical direction, animation, lighting, and visual effects.
I think that the accomplishments that we had was having this posable dynamic kinematic system for hair, and as far as we know, it hasn't been done before, to be able to control dynamics in a friendly way for the motion animators to use.
With Fiona developing her character, we probably spent all of a year doing her character setup, painting the textures on her face and dealing with the lighting before she looked good.
Man, that was annoying.
A year in setup and 2 years in layout, animation, lighting, and texturing. And Fiona was ready to be introduced to the actor who brings her to life vocally.
I really was kind of taken back because I was watching myself, and it was so bizarre to see the mannerisms and the sort of the essence of kind of myself. The way she carried herself was something that I recognized, and it was really wild to see that.
The human characters are only part of the story of Shrek, because in animation, everything must be created from scratch. The sets, the camera movements, the effects, the dust in the air, the shadows, all begin in the mind of the artist and depend on the ingenuity of computer technicians.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere.
Shrek takes audiences into a fantasy world comprised of nearly 40 separate locations. Each location is painstakingly constructed in the computer, and then simple puppet-like characters are inserted to establish camera angles and movement. This first step of the film's process into 3 dimensions is called layout.
You can block out the action like a play, with stand-in characters trying to figure out what's a good way for the scene to go before you even take it to the animators.
In 3D animation, the sky's the limit for camera work. But to keep the film natural, the producers of Shrek chose not to use impossible camera angles.
We wanted to actually give it a very live-action feel. So we, to some degree, restricted our use of camera to what you'd see in a real live-action film, although there's still some shots where to show the action best, we found we could do a crane shot or a helicopter shot that would be very hard to shoot in live action. So we kind of got the best of both worlds.
The sensibility, the approach, your intellectual approach, your aesthetic approach, and production approach up to a point is really live action.
What we found here at PDI in 3D filmmaking, you really do mimic all the great cinematography techniques that everybody else uses out there in the live action domain. Inside the computer you have a whole range of lenses, and we swap around just as you would in all traditional photography shooting in live action.
You can see how it's zooming from a wide angle to a longer lens.
And that's a kind of really exciting thing as an editor, to be able to pick up the phone and say, try moving the camera to the left and panning over to the right at the end of the shot, and can you add some camera shake?
A common live-action camera technique was used to add tension to the scene where Donkey and Shrek cross the wobbly bridge to the Dragon's Keep.
The bridge was great because it really felt, we tried to make it as steady cam feel as possible, and so that gave a nice touch to the sequence. You suddenly realized you could be standing on the bridge.
So this is the actual camera view, and it appears that the bridge is jostling and bouncing a lot more than it is. When you go and you look at the camera view, the camera is actually bouncing and rolling itself.
The sophisticated camera work picked up the tremendous detail in the environment. Over 28,000 trees, 3 billion leaves, and 1,250 props are packed into the movie. All of this detail created a tremendous strain on the computer resources of the company.
We have basically a new, lush environment in every sequence. So there were a lot of areas of added complexity that all added up to, a big challenge for us both on how to develop the looks and make, the technology work, and then also be able to do it within our resources of, rendering and machines.
I think we started out with roughly about 525 processors, let's say, and also we incorporate all of the desktop machines that the animators are using at night into the rendering equation. So at night, the number of processors involved in rendering could go up as high as maybe 800.
The textures, shadows, lighting, and color of the film are the handiwork of the lighting department. Here, the characters and settings are textured to give them an organic look.
It's something where there is a program that is effectively sort of running over the surface of the character, if you will, and creating this texture on the fly.
And a great example is like the grass that you see in the background there. That was a shader that we actually used
We actually used fur for grass because it worked out really well. We were able to grow fur from a surface. Well, why don't we just make the fur look like grass blades? And we ended up being able to just elaborate on one shader to make another shader.
We also do things with geometry shaders where procedural programs will create pieces of geometry, rocks, plants, things like that, that don't exist as models, but they're created at the time that the image is rendered.
Even with Shrek's inventive camera work, state-of-the-art lighting, near-human characters, and an organic realism, there's still something missing. Something that every contemporary film must have.
Donkey, look out!
Visual effects. In a computer-animated movie, anything that's not character animation, set design, or camera movement is considered a visual effect.
Fire, mud, rain, dust. They're the things that make a world come to life. And once again, the computer has empowered us to do things today that we'd only dreamed of only 18 months or 2 years ago.
Shrek's mud bath was created using the fluid simulation systems designed for ants. The system enabled the effects department to create a range of liquids with different viscosities, rendering milk and mud and even foamy beer effects for the tournament scene. The same basic technology was used to much scarier effect when Donkey and Shrek crossed the lava-filled moat to the Dragon's Keep.
Oh, you can't tell me you're afraid of heights.
No, I'm just a little uncomfortable about being on a rickety bridge over a boiling lake of lava.
To do the lava, we created spurts that would look interesting, and then on the surface of the lava is what we call a height field, which is basically a grid that you make go up and down in certain places, and that gives you a fluid-like looking surface. And then we brought it into some programs that we have in order to make the texture on the top feel like it's swirling around.
Cool. In the climactic rescue scene, Shrek, Donkey, and Fiona escape from the castle, pursued by a fire-breathing dragon. And it is possible to integrate live-action elements into the scene, but the effects department decided to use computer-generated fire, which offered much more control.
Basically, you figure out what direction you want it to move out of the dragon's mouth, simulate that with a number of spheres as well, a particle system for that, and make sure you get the right kind of billowing and turbulence and turmoil in that. And so we developed some special techniques for rendering that and putting what we call noise on it and processing that in the right way. And then at the end, goes through a 2D process to give the final kind of glows and look to make it look like fire.
Basically, we started off with just a very simple ball, and we just animated the ball at the camera to get the timing right, and they started building their effects on top of that timing. So we would then, we'd have a simplified bunch of triangles just fly out at you, and then it would get slightly more blobby and more detailed, and then finally you see in lighting, you see an amazing effect coming out at you straight at your face. So we just started off very simply and then build from there.
Hi, Princess!
It talks!
Yeah, it's getting them to shut up, that's the trick!
The making of Shrek is a marriage between the high-tech world we inhabit and the age-old techniques of the artist. For all its sophistication, the technology used to create Shrek is in some ways as simple as a pencil drawing a picture.
Artistically, this is a very well-integrated visual film that has a look that fits the story and a style of animation that fits the tone of the picture.
The dust in the air, the leaves moving in the trees, the wind in the grass, the footsteps, the very precise lighting. It's a very intricate process and it requires all the talent of everybody.
And then all the effects and all the wind blowing and the dust and the smoke and the fire, I think, just bring a richness and a reality to our world that's so valuable when you're trying to create this illusion of life.
Despite all the technological achievements, the creators of Shrek are hoping that the audience doesn't even notice their work.
The thing that's fun of working on this is not the technology or the techniques that we use, but it's the actual film itself, and entertaining the audience and making them laugh is the important thing.
One of the things that's really exciting is that I feel like we're just getting to the point now where computer animation is really maturing a little bit and getting into this realm where people are starting to think about a lot of different stylistic options that they've got.
So someone comes in here with something that's going to push us really far technologically, and that's what we want to do, great, we'll go there. We're not afraid. That's the cool part of working with such smart people, that combination of scientist artists that we have here.
In the end, Shrek's producers used all the advanced technological tools at their disposal to reach a very old-fashioned end, to tell a good story.
Man, isn't this romantic? Just look at that sunset.
In the broadest sense, technology allows an artist today to actually be able to create anything they can imagine.
I was blown away. I'd never seen anything like that. I always loved the animations in fairy tale books, and now they had this 3D universe that I just didn't want to leave.
That's what's special about the film. It strikes you as completely unusual and new. I mean, I imagine this film is going to strike people the way Snow White did. Just the fact that it's so overwhelmingly beautiful to look at.
It really, visually, it really, really blows your mind. You know, it goes like, look how far this has come. And look how far animation has come.
Now I really see what's going on here.
I get such a thrill when you look in my eyes. My heart skips a beat, girl, I feel so alive. Please tell me, baby, if all this is true. 'Cause deep down inside, all I wanted was you. Oh, makes me wanna dance. Oh, I look into your eyes. Oh, best years of our lives.
This is my swamp.
Our swamp.
Let go, donkey.
You let go.
Stubborn jackass.
Smelly ogre.
Fine.
You are mean to me. You insult me and you don't appreciate anything that I do.
Oh, your half.
And you say, hey, let's get some parfaits. They say, hell no, I don't like no parfaits. Parfaits are delicious.
No! You dance irritating. You coming, donkey?
Down!
Oh, yep, I'm right behind you.
Oh!
You coming, donkey?
Oh, yep, I'm right behind you.
Put me.
Kick him to the curb. Don't mess with me. I'm the stair master. I've mastered the stairs. I wish I had a step right here, and now I'd step all over it.
No, it's perfect. It just needs a few homey touches. Rescuer, now remove your helmet.
Hey, I'm no one's messenger boy, okay? I'm a delivery boy.
Shrek's ugly 24/7.
But donkey, I'm a princess.
Will you be the perfect bride for the perfect groom? Will you be the perfect bride for the perfect groom?
This marriage is binding, and that makes me king! See?
No, let's
See?
Shrek, the outrageous new animated movie from PDI DreamWorks, is a highly irreverent take on the classic fairy tale. American movie stars Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, and John Lithgow provide the voices for the colorful cast of fairy tale characters in this hilarious comedy. Replacing those performances for the worldwide release of the film is an art in itself.
We try and cast the characters to capture the same attitude as what we've achieved in the English language version of the film. So you can actually hear whether it's the same feeling, whether it's a vulnerability or an excitability. You can find that in the quality of the international actors and actresses that give the performance.
Amigos debes tener. Stop singing!
Dubbing over the performance of a superstar like Eddie Murphy provided a challenge for the actor who gives the talkative donkey his Italian persona.
He's a personality that's been around for a long time, and he's managed to make this donkey into a very likable character. It wasn't very easy living up to the standard he has set.
Other actors in over 20 countries, from Taiwan to Turkey, are voicing Shrek and his companions for an international audience.
What's wonderful about it is that it seems perfectly original because Shrek is a big green ogre. So, yes, it's Mike Myers' voice here, but whoever makes it their voice in Italy or Spain or Germany, it's them.
No! I'm an ogre!
No! Soy un ogro!
No! Sono un orco! No! Je suis un ogre! C'est connu!
No matter which language Shrek is speaking, the meaning is always the same because the language of comedy is international.
¿Qué tal un caramelito de menta? Porque te canta el hocico!
Sequence 1, Fiona's prologue, done in the style of the old classic black and white horror films. Open on a full moon reflected in water. A desperate figure splashes through, the gypsy fortune teller voiceover. In the cards a tale is told of a time not too far past when in the kingdom of Duloc there came into the world a princess named Fiona. She runs. But the occasion was not the joyous one the king and queen had dreamed of, for to their horror their child was born a monster. Ashamed, they locked her away from the eyes of the outside world, running through the forest, and set a dragon to keep her. They told her subjects that Fiona was such a rare beauty that she was stolen away. Years passed, the king and queen died, taking their secret to the grave. They left the kingdom in the hands of an ambitious regent and Fiona in the claws of the dragon. And so things remained until just before Princess Fiona was of age to ascend the throne, she escaped the dragon's guard and fled deep into the woods. To seek, reveal the cards floating over a campfire, her hands draw them all in, the aid of Dama Fortuna? Are you sure this is the course you wish to follow? Yes, look at me. I'm a princess. I'm supposed to be beautiful and live happily ever after. All right then, which shall it be? She offers 2 spells. Beauty or happily ever after? Choose which spell. If I'm beautiful, I could find my own happily ever after. She grabs the beauty potion, drinks it back. Picks up a mirror, looks in it, it shatters. No! It didn't work. I'm still ugly. Wait, with magic there is always a catch. When the sun rises this morning, you will be beautiful. But come sunset, you'll transform back to this natural form. And so it shall be until you find your one true love. Find my one true love? How hard could that be? She runs off. Good luck, princess. You're going to need it. A fast tracking shot over the forest as swoops down. Princess Fiona running. Here, no, no, ah! Dragon carries her away.
This is a sequence called Fiona Gets Them Lost. It follows Remove Helmet, where Shrek has just taken off his helmet. Fiona realizes he's an ogre, and she doesn't like this. Look, princess, I was sent to rescue you by Lord Farquaad. He's your true love. Well, you can tell Lord Farquaad that if he wants to rescue me properly, I'll be waiting for him right here. Crackle, crackle, crackle. Whoa! Ah! Woof, woof. You know, you're not making my job any easier. Rum, Rumble, 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 the ceiling starts to cave in. Your job is not my problem. She goes walking off. Hey, where are you going? Boom, ah, huff, 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 huff. You must be this tall to enter mine? Hey, Shrek, I don't think this is such a good idea. Get in, donkey. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Make it go, make it go. Oh. Yippee, 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 yippee. Danger, do not enter. Stop, stop. You're too big to enter me mine. Huh? They hit a scaffold, knocking dwarves. Huh? 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 Ah, get it off me, get it off me. Aye. Ah, dead men tell no tales. Past an animatronic snowman. Around another corner. Past the bears. Huh? Ah! Huh? Ah! Into a spiral. Make it stop! Make it stop! Shrek puts out his hands. She looks. Well, are you coming with me or not? Hmm? Oh. The end.
This is Sequence 700 deal, and it takes place after Shrek has defeated the Knights at the tournament. He's been invited into Farquaad's map room, where Farquaad stands on top of this large-scale model of Duloc and the surrounding areas, with his arms held up high. Behold, he steps forward, the future. Picture it, whip pan, pristine villages, convenience stores, subdivisions, mini malls. All of them free of ugliness and chaos. Yes, my friends, it will be a Duloc world after all. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Ah, that's great. What does that have to do with my swamp? You mean this? And he points to this little model of Shrek's swamp. Oh, look at that, Shrek. That is adorable. Hey! Donkey goes running off. Look! A trailer home! He gets hit on the muzzle. Bad donkey, get down! Get down! You see, Shrek, that swamp was never yours in the first place. Hold up deed. Pulls it away. However, I'll give you your swamp back. And remove all those fairy tale creatures if you go on a little search and rescue mission for me. Holds up the little Fiona doll. And if I don't, then you'll have lots of time to spend with your new friends. Flicks back the Fiona head, revealing a button, and then clicks down on it. And we just hear. All these little fairy tale mockets start pouring out, burying Shrek. Tink, tink. Isn't life wonderful, Mr. Goose? Why, yes, Mr. Humpty. I love living in Shrek's swamp. Let's stay here forever and ever and ever and ever.
Hi y'all, we're Bahamen. We're outside here at the Argonne in Chicago.
Hey, and we're just recording our new video, Best Years of Our Lives, so come and check it out with us. It's gonna be for the movie Shrek.
Yep.
So it's gonna be hot.
Off the hook,
right now.
Fresh off their hit, Who Let the Dogs Out? The Baha Men are on board singing an original new song for the soundtrack of the box office blockbuster, Shrek. Enjoy the Caribbean sound of Best Years of Our Lives.
I get such a thrill when you look in my eyes. My heart skips a beat, girl, I feel so alive. Please tell me, baby, if all this is true. 'Cause deep down inside,
Excellent, very well done.
makes me wanna dance. It's under romance. I look into your eyes. Best years of our lives.
Shrek, we just saw, man. Excellent, man. It's gonna be off the hook.
We're doing a great video for you guys. It's gonna be off the hook, man. Yeah. Just like the movie. Like the movie. Yeah. Just checking out the playbacks, man. Yeah.
Camera's over here, so look at the camera.
And treat me like a Notre Dame, that's why I had to keep my shine on. I break a little something to keep my mind on, cause you had my mind gone. Turn the lights on, come on baby, let's just rewind the song. Cause all I wanna do is make the rest dance, the best dance all night long.
End of story. Bye-bye. See you later.
I thought love was only true in fairy tales, meant for someone else but not for me. Love was out to get me, that's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all my dreams. And then I saw her face. I'm a believer, and not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her if I tried. I thought love was more or less a given thing. The more I gave, the less I got. Oh yeah. What's the use of trying? All you get is pain. When I wanted sunshine, I got rain. And then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer, and not
dropped your keys back there.
Oh, thanks. Hey, wait a minute. Aren't you Steve from Smash Mouth?
Yeah, I am.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think I could get your number or something?
I gotta go. I'm sorry. Thanks.
Wait, please? I love you.
What's it like being an ogre in a big Hollywood movie?
Being an ogre movie star is not all glamour. I mean, there's a lot of swamp work, there's a lot of toad's eyes you have to eat, there's a press junket, photo shoots, private jets. I met the president last night. It's a lot of stuff, actually.
What's it like being green?
Well, it was Shakespeare, or was it Kermit, who said, "It's not easy being green." I have to disagree. I think it's very easy to be green. It's very easy to be big and green.
Have you been doing your own stunts in the movie?
Yes, I do all my own stunts. I broke every bone in my body. You know, ogres have 15 more bones than humans.
What was it like working with Shrek?
He was kind of a pain in the ass at first. We became really good friends. You know, he's really fun around Halloween's, being all green and ugly and stuff.
Did you do all of your own stunts?
No, it's actually a couple of gnomes in the suit and some great special effects.
What are you planning to do next?
I'm working on taking Don Quixote to Broadway as a musical. I'm playing the role of Donkey, of course, and I'm also in discussions with the original Mr. Ed about a remake of The Odd Couple. I'm gonna be playing Felix.
Do you have any future plans for your singing career?
Yeah, I'm cutting an album right now under the name Little MC Ass.
Is it true you did all your own stunt work in Shrek?
Yes, I did all the stunts in this film. It was a very exciting experience. It's actually the first time that I've got to swing from a tree. But I did learn a little bit of Kung Fu. After watching Charlie's Angels, I was well impressed with the girls' work in that.
Do you think Shrek is someone you could be attracted to in real life?
Well, of course, he's so cute. I mean, he's green and he does actually eat swamp rats in real life. But he is really just a sensitive, caring, funny guy who just loves to keep everybody laughing. And yes, actually, definitely.
What attracted you to this role?
Really, I was looking for a challenge, frankly. Without giving too much away, I wanted to play someone that ordinary people could relate to. And plus, I got to kick some butt, you know what I'm saying?
How was it working with a donkey?
Donkey is as funny in real life as he is on the screen. Honestly. I mean, he is just sheer animal magnetism. He's fantastic.
What plans do you have coming up in the future?
Actually, Snow White and I were planning on a remake of Thelma and Louise. We've got that in the works right now with DreamWorks, and that should be going into production soon.